Hello, everyone. Today is June 3rd, and this is the Wednesday Calpads Q&A. My name is Alex Sandi. I'm a data analyst at CSIS supporting Calpads, and driving for us today is going to be Mr. Matt Clark. Moving on to announcements. We're going to start off with Flash 305. Flash 305, there were two updated versions of that Flash, and the one that you want to keep is the one that was sent yesterday, Tuesday, June 6th. That is the greatest and latest. And the Flash is essentially just it got updated to reflect current information about attendance recovery and expanded learning. So it is quite lengthy, but some of the stuff we've already read through from the original 305. So it's just providing a little bit more clarification and context in some areas. Next, we have Flash 306, and that also went out yesterday, Tuesday, June 6th. And that talks about business rule changes to the homeless program records in Calpads. So I highly recommend that you read through that. There's also a section at the bottom for your homeless program liaison that might be worth forwarding to them. And okay, so the next part is the validation SILA 751E1. And that kind of caught us off guard yesterday. A lot of things happened yesterday, but it was during the release that this validation, it's a new validation that got introduced, but alas, it came with a bug. And so the validation should only be focusing in on SELA records that are from this academic year. And instead, it was over-triggering on prior SELA records. It is a known issue. We have it, as Matt is showing you on the screen, we have it on our known issues list. We also have the message on our homepage, on the Calpads homepage. So it is also available there for y'all to see. We are hoping that we have a patch in the very near future. The validation is still active because we want to make sure that you can still act on those errors that are valid for this academic year, but you can please ignore the ones that are triggering for prior years. And lastly, on my list of announcements is just a reminder that we are currently in the midst of EOY submission. The initial deadline for end of year one is July 17th. And that is our initial deadline. And SELPA is not required, but it is strongly encouraged for this initial deadline. And then we have a final deadline for end of year one, which is July 31st, and that does require a SELPA approval. End of year two, there is no amendment window. You have the one and only deadline, which is August 17th. So I just want everyone to be aware. I'm sure plenty of you all are finishing off your school year. I don't know how many of you are going on summer break or if that's even a thing that you all have, but others are lucky in your district probably that they get to go. So if they're part of your inner circle group people that are needed to review some of these reports, make sure that you are aware of them leaving and that you need them, basically. All right, that's enough of me talking. Angela, do you have anything?
There was a release yesterday, as you talked about, and only one item was fixed in that, so not big news there. We are hoping to patch that SELA error you talked about, so hopefully that will come today or tomorrow.
Dominic, anything from the SPED office?
No new announcements, but for those of you who may be working on the data quality analysis validations, just a reminder to please, when you're contacting CDE or CSIS for assistance, send an email to speddatasupport@cde.ca.gov. And the reason for that is because CSIS would not have access to the data pools that created these validations. And so they're not going to be able to provide support. So to save yourself having to wait for the ticket to go through the system and get forwarded to us, you're better off reaching out directly to our unit, speddatasupport@cde.ca.gov. And that's all.
Okay. We're going to start off with our questions, starting off with Alan. Question 1 says, this question is for Paula regarding Sunbucks. Paula's not usually on these calls, but so the question reads, should CEP schools have a blank NSLP date received column on the SSBC file? And should the local DC date column be blank if we don't have any local DCs?
Well, Sean joined us last week. Did she happen to join again today?
I've been looking for her, but I have not seen her join yet.
I don't think we have any subject matter experts on that today.
Would recommend reviewing the Sunbucks FAQs to see if you can find an answer there, or if not, reaching out to the Sunbucks program folks.
I don't have a lot of background like Paula would, but I do have some notes that I wrote down on this, and it says the CEP schools should leave the NSLP date received column blank for students whose eligibility is being established via the UBA, Universal Benefits application. And that's because SEP schools are prohibited from collecting traditional NSLP applications. And it says instead for Sunbucks eligibility, schools must collect the UBAs annually. So I don't have any background, but that's just something I had written down.
And Rebecca also posted a link on there. So Alan, hopefully that helps you. And if not, as Matt said, please reach out to Sunbucks.
And this is the link that Rebecca provided, and I do think it's likely helpful. So please review this, review the FAQs, and then reach out if you need further guidance.
Thank you. Next, we have Lydia from Alameda. Question 1 says, regarding private school students that have been exited previous years, is the new guidance to now read until we know where they are? For instance, the student was exited in 23-24 academic year. Do we go back to Calpads and add enrollment record for 24-25 school year with start date first day of school and exit reason 170 on the last day of school for that school year? And do we add 25-26 record with start date of the first day of school and keep active until we find out if student is still in their private school?
So the private school guidance is essentially for folks who want to use Calpads data for calculating proportionate share. I'm a little bit confused about this question because you're stating you don't know where the student is. And so I'm not quite understanding if in this scenario, you're the district of location or you're the district of residence. There's probably more background we're going to need or some clarifying questions we'll need to ask Lydia. So please send in a service desk ticket. I can't, based on your question and the nature of the Q&A session, I'm just not going to be able to answer that definitively.
Thank you. Next, we have Rigoberto. Question 1. Good afternoon, team. Can expected days of attendance on the STAS be adjusted for a student with a 162 pregnant parenting program if their leave is taken intermittently? My inclination is yes. That's the whole, not the whole purpose, but one of the main reasons why the temporarily not enrolled was created, right? For the STAS, where it would reduce the number of days on the STAS so that it wouldn't count against students that were out on parental leave.
I also posted Calpads Flash 148.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm on it, trying to get it pulled up, Kyron. Give me 1 sec.
Page 4. So it doesn't necessarily say how to manage chronic absency, but I assume it's a cumulative absences that you reduce from that expected days.
Thank you. And Rigoberto, I see your question too, and we'll circle back. And we're going to move on to Natasha from Escondido. Question 1 says, our SIS only includes a student's mailing address on the SINF if the mailing address is different from the physical address. When addresses were pulled for Sunbucks card insurance, did they include both physical and mailing, or only mailing addresses? We have some cards being mailed to our district office for students who have a physical address in Calpads but no mailing address. I'm not sure what got pulled for Sunbucks.
My inclination would be to refer to the guidance on the same 2 pages as the previous Sunbucks question.
Yeah, I do remember there being a section for maintaining the address updated, but I can't recall the specifics. And maybe it wasn't a flash.
Do we have Kyron to the rescue with the flash number? Oh, we have Rebecca to the rescue with the link. Let me get that pulled up real quick here. Oh, and then Nate also has flash 269. So this is the link from Rebecca, and then let me get flash 269 pulled up as well. Quite a few hits on address.
Yeah. Student's mailing address.
Any address updates made for these students in Calpads after a 2024 date are not used. Flash.
That second sentence, if the student does not have a mailing address in Calpads, then the student's residential address in Calpads will be used. So I think either one would have worked. I suppose, Natasha, if you're having if you do have an address in Calpads for these students and they're being sent to the district office, then I would send an email over to Sunbucks and just ask them to review. Maybe with 1 or 2 SSID examples. Okay. We're going to move on to Catherine from Sonora Elementary. Question 1. For the SILA 751E1, the RFEP Status Start Date cannot equal enrollment start date. What if the start date is not the first day of enrollment with the district, but the first day of enrollment for a particular year? And does this need to be corrected for previous years? It does not have to be corrected for previous years. It's only for those SELA records that are from 25-26, just focusing only on this current academic year. And if the start date is not the first day of enrollment with the district, but the first day of enrollment for a particular year. I'm not sure I understand that part. Are you saying that it's not the first day of school, but it's the first day for that particular student? Like maybe they started today, kind of? I'm not sure I understand that
Or they may have SENR records for several years, but this would be the enrollment start date for this academic.
Oh, gotcha. So a student has been with the district for several years. So I would say first ignore any validation error that's triggering for previous academic years. Those don't count. You don't have to worry about those. If you're getting that error for this particular school year and the RFEP date is the same as the enrollment start date for that student, those are the ones that you need to clear. So I guess I would say it probably doesn't matter if the student has been with the district for several years. If the RFEP date matches the enrollment start date for this year, then we don't like that. Calpads is not going to like it. You have to do at least one day after. I hope that answers your question. Kyron is typing an answer, so I'll let him answer. And then we can move on to Alejandra from Madera Unified. Question 1 says, can you please provide guidance on the proper way to code a student who is attending the adult transition program who is not a high school completer but has aged out for services?
So,
Go for it.
I was gonna say, go ahead.
I think that there's an FAQ on this, but a student that is in transition services, I believe that I'm talking about the enrollment. The proper way to code a student in the enrollment is to exit them with you can either do an E230 with 120 if they received a certificate of completion. If you've already tagged them as getting a certificate of completion in a prior year, then you would do an exit of E125. So I guess it depends on how you've coded them in previous enrollments. I will let Dominic answer on the special education records.
For the status, it would be not eligible with non-participation code 23 max age. The status start date would be the date of the student's 22nd birthday or the date the services are going to end if the student's allowed to continue services until the end of the semester or the end of the year.
And Shelley did mention that the E400, since he didn't complete high school, that's also a possibility. E400 is only applicable for students who are over 18. So I'm assuming that this student would be. But the E230 120 doesn't mean that they completed high school, right? It's specific to a certificate of completion. So I guess it just depends on which scenario that your student falls into.
Yeah, and the FAQ you referenced previously, it was E230 with a completer 125. I don't know if that's out of date.
Mm-hmm.
That is a typo. It is just E125. The E230 120 is the certificate of completion. The E230 is completer. But we're saying E125, which is prior special ed completer, final departure coding.
And Matt, if you're searching for the FAQ, if you want to search for adult dash age, that'll there you go.
Thank you, Dominic.
You're welcome.
There it is. Thank you. Moving on to Shelley from Hacienda La. Question 1. What exit reason or / school completion status do we use if a student completed their highest grade at a high school or at a school, but we do not know where they will attend next year? We use E230 480 if transferring to a public school, California, and E230 485 for transfers to private, another state or another country, etc. But we don't know what to use if we are not sure where they are going to attend yet. I
I
wonder.
believe, sorry, I
Mhm.
believe the 480 completion code isn't, or is just matriculated. You completed the highest grade level offered and you're moving on. I don't recall the moving on to another public school. Is that
It
actually
is in there,
attached?
yeah, Paul.
Okay, I just wanted to make
But it
sure.
says
Okay.
expected to attend another California public school.
Mhm.
I'd be tempted just to use it, Shelley, and then you can always
Yeah.
come back and change it later
Mhm.
once you find out where the kid went.
Yeah, I wondered if we had an ERD for it, but I don't think we do we?
No,
Mhm.
there's no ERD, and
Yeah.
it's not a loss transfer too.
Mhm. But yeah, that was my inclination too, is just use the E230 480, assume that they're expecting to go somewhere in California, and then if you get confirmation otherwise, then change to 485. Okay, Leah's question 2, we'll circle back. Emilio, question 1. Good afternoon. When will the next foster and migrant extracts be updated?
So the MEPS was today, and foster is usually on Fridays.
Okay.
And
Nice.
Matt, is that you driving?
It is.
Thank you. So you can always check the home page to see when things were last updated. Or like important announcements like we had yesterday when we had
Yeah.
fun when that new CDD went in. Foster Fridays isn't as good as Taco Tuesday. Totally agree.
Yeah. Okay, Amelia, we see your question 2. We'll circle back. Next up, we have Melissa. Question 1. How do we know which SILA 751E1 errors are for this year that are true errors without having to look up each SSID individually? How do you indeed?
I
I'd say
think
wait for
when
the
I'm
fix to go ish.
yeah, I tried to kind of convey that in the message on the homepage. Just it's a mess right now. So the developer checked in his fix. He's got a tester testing it, and our plan is to patch it as soon as it's ready to go. I
I
just said
wonder,
ignore him for now.
yeah. Could you, if you were to do a DD extract, could you then look at the date?
Chris says
Potentially.
Chris posted a point, good suggestion. Do a SILA extract with
Oh,
academic year of RFEP for 25-26, and you should have, if you followed the first day of school RFEP as we've suggested in prior years, then you have your entire RFEP list as of August.
yeah. Cindy said that she tried the DD extract and that looked at the school year. So I think that may be the fastest.
Yeah, that
Oh, maybe not. The DD extract has 25-26 as the academic year, not RFEP date. All right. Yeah, so then I guess just ignore completely then. Sorry. Next, we have Bavita from Poway. Question 1. If at the end of 8th grade, the student and family moves out of state, so should the end of year status for the student be 200 out of state or 230, 480? I think it would be 200. I think the 480 is specific to private school.
485
Or 485,
is,
yeah.
yeah.
Sorry, 485. Oh, interesting. School outside of California.
This one reads pretty general, matriculated to a school outside of the California public school system.
You know what? I think I take it back. I would do the E230 485 because that gives the whole picture, right? The student finished the grade level. They finished their highest grade level at that school and they just went somewhere that was outside of California. And so they're not expected to go to another California school. We're not expecting to see another enrollment in Calpads. Versus the E200 is just saying they went out of state, but it misses the completion of that grade level.
Jan does bring up a great point in reading the second paragraph, the note to code 480. So if the student has matriculated but is not expected to return to a California public school, use the E480 or use the code most representatives of the student status. So if you're unsure, I would choose 480. If you know that or you are not expecting them to return to the state, I would use 485. Thank you, Jan.
Disregard this one. Cindy says that the DD error code, the extract does show the academic year. So maybe, so I know y'all all have to try it out, I guess, because I don't know. It shows the current academic year only when I pull it. Okay. So then we'll have to test it out. I don't know personally.
I'm hoping it'll be a moot point sooner
Right.
rather than later.
Okay, so I think those are all question 1s. We're going to circle back to question 2, and we're starting at 303 with Rigoberto's question 2, which reads, what's the preferred method for reconciling ghost SINF records? Reach out to the LEA to remove their SINF record when our active student never attended said LEA, or have our LEA upload a SINF with an effective date after the ghost record. What's a ghost record? Is it when it's like a different LEA submitted the SINF record and then they removed their enrollment, but their SINF record remained? Aha, okay, yeah. So the LEA never deleted the SINF with their enrollment. So the cool thing about SINF records is that so long as your enrollment overlaps that SINF record, you have ownership of it, even if your LEA was not the one that submitted that SINF record. So what that's going to look like is it's going to say, you know, you're going to open up that SINF record and it's going to show a different LEA submitted it, but you will see that delete button at the bottom, or you can edit it if you needed to. But it has to overlap your enrollment. So just, yeah, I mean, that's the only caveat. If you're off by like a day or something, then you could kind of fudge the enrollment a little bit, open it up enough to let it overlap, and then revert that exit to whatever it was originally. And then if none of those, if you're not the LEA that overlaps that SINF record, then I suppose, yeah, reaching out to that LEA that does. I mean, in the question, I don't know what other people on my team will say to this, but I think the question is also, what if we just left it, right? Because it's old SINF records. They're not going to, most of the time, all of our reports are looking at the most recent or the one that overlaps the enrollment. So I guess.
Right, I agree.
No,
Just
no,
go
but-
with overlapping.
But if they have incorrect US initial enrollment days, those attributes, and
There you go.
yeah,
Okay.
then it will mess up their information.
I'm convinced.
So
now.
how
Thank-
about this? We'll mix the two. So long as it's not causing an issue, like Kyron brings up, you can go ahead and leave it alone safely, like Alex says, because it's not causing an error. So you get the best of both worlds.
There you go, Rigoberto. You have a plethora of avenues that you can explore. Question 2 from Leah at 305. From Flash 305, am I understanding correctly that now we will be able to recover suspension days?
No.
Okay.
And Rebecca's lists the the 3 types of absences that can be used.
Thank you. Matt has it up on the screen. So it's only days absent in person, excused for non-suspension, and incomplete non-ADA generating independent study days only if it is a short-term independent study defined as 15 or fewer days. Next, we have Emilio's question 2, and that is at 307. If we are unable to local foster match a student, client ID was not in a valid format, what other options are there to confirm a student's foster status? And for context, the student has not appeared on the 5.7 or 5.9 either.
So you have to ensure that the student meets any of the definition of a foster in Calpads. Foster student, because if it does not meet any of those foster scenarios, there's a reason why it's not matching at all. So if you look at foster youth in the glossary, there are 4 or I think 5 scenarios or definitions that make the student eligible as foster youth in Calpads. And if they are part of any of that and it's still not matching, then maybe you may want to reach to your foster youth liaison.
I'll put the link to that document in the chat.
Thank you, Angela.
And thank you, Kyron. Are done with questions for now. Hang on for another 3 minutes or so in case anyone's typing. In personal news, I may have jury duty tomorrow, which is kind of exciting for me because I haven't gotten called for like jury duty in, I don't know, 20 years.
Are you? Do you hope to be on the jury, Allie?
I mean, yeah, it's always like, you know, you see these things on TV and I'm like, oh, that might be interesting.
It is
so
interesting,
it's so
but
the
it's,
opposite of that, though.
Yeah.
but so it's so
It's
boring when you're
opposite.
sitting in the hallway waiting to be called into the courtroom over and over and over and over again.
Hours.
Well, and I got
That's
called on one that was like over a month long. It was,
Yikes.
yeah, it went just dragged on, and my goodness, lawyers, they just ask the same question over and over and over again, just different ways, like hoping to get a different answer out of the person. It's not like it is on the movies or TV.
I'll just say that if my fate was in the hands of a jury of my peers, I would want Alex on the jury because I think that she's a good person who would make a right decision.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll get a clip of this recording and just send it to
There
the
you go.
judge.
Oh no.
Okay. We have a question from Rebecca. It says, great question in the chat. Can we begin requesting SSIDs for 26-27 school year? I thought we had to wait for the rollover. No, you don't have to wait. So Calpads currently allows you to create future enrollments up to 6 months. I believe we're making modification to that to restrict it to only 3 months in advance. But either way, if your school year starts in August, that's, you know, well within the 3-month time span. So you can request the new SSIDs now, and it shouldn't impact your end of year reporting because it's the end of year is only looking at this academic year. So next we have Terry. Oh, so Terry says, oh no, I had jury service for 6 weeks, started in October and ended before Christmas.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Sounds like
Maybe.
quite the trial, Chair.
I know. Question 1 from W. Tyra says, I haven't created a ticket for this yet, trying to have admin see if they can resolve at their side. That says, I have a CERT 97 error, missing Title I Targeted Assistance Program record. The school is set to be Title I next school year, not this year. Is there something I should do on this end? Yes, so what you want to do is figure out who at your district, and perhaps that's your admin, does the CARS. I'm blanking on the name.
Consolidated Application Reporting System.
Thank you. So whoever handles that is the person that you want to contact, because there's reports that they need to certify in CARS, and CARS talks to Calpads. And CARS is saying these are the schools that have been identified as being targeted, having Title I targeted funds. And these schools we're expecting a 122 program record for. And so if that's not true and that school should not be identified as targeted, then that person, whoever does the CARS, needs to make updates to that report. So the sooner that you can do this, the better. One, because it's a fatal error. You won't be able to certify unless you have that data. And two, especially if whoever handles that information in your district is going on vacation, you want to catch them now before they leave. I know that from experience, just FYI. And I think that there was a flash on this. I think.
If you scroll
error
further
list,
down,
the user
sorry.
manual that Matt has up, yeah, it's got a video and it's a very rich error list, so that's a good one to reference.
And get the word out to your other LEAs, because apparently from a list Kyron sent us, there's quite a few LEAs that have this error right now.
230 have them right now, and so that means they can't certify until they get that fixed.
And we'll get the tickets in. How do we fix the error?
Were you going to say something, Kyron?
I was about to say to scroll down.
Thank you, Kyron. Rebecca also put a slide deck in chat. I can try to pull that up as well. All right, and I'm looking for slide 54 to 55. This does look like good info. So the link to this slide deck is in the Q&A box for the answered questions.
I like
and also, oh yeah, go for it.
No, it had nothing to do with this. I was just making a comment on Chris's message in the chat about the only thing more boring than waiting to serve on a jury is serving on a jury.
All right, I'll lower my expectations if I even get called. No. But what I was going to say about the Title I also is, if it turns out that that school is a targeted one school, it's important to then talk to whoever at that particular school handles or should have been in charge of the programs, because it's not enough to identify the students. You also have to give us what kind of services were provided to the students. So, and again, I say this from experience, it was very painful. It's during the summer break, because it was like, herding cats, trying to figure out, okay, I got the list of SIDs, but now I need to figure out what services were provided. And so anyway, try to avoid that headache if you can, and get those answers the sooner the better. We're once again out of questions.
But I am writing down Dominic's food recommendation in the chat.
What is it?
Hot pot at
ID Lau.
ID Lau.
Yep.
What's that?
Hot pot, it's basically boiling broth and you dip vegetables or meat into it, and there's all kinds of like side sauces or dressings or whatever, and it's pretty excellent. I'm not sure if it's a summer food necessarily, sitting in front of a boiling pot of soup, but it's really good stuff.
Were you just sharing dishes or did something prompt it?
I made a joke on the Taco Tuesday versus Foster
Oh,
Fridays.
gotcha. Yeah, yeah.
Because Heidi Lau has a promotion called Meat O'Clock, where it's all you can eat of whatever the meats that they've chosen to promote for, I think, an hour or so.
Wow.
And the Thai mango salad. You guys are making me hungry.
Right?
Well, we can end at 15 minutes early. Seems like we're out of questions, so.
Okay, by me, what do you think, Matt?
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, folks, thank you for everyone that helped and all your questions. We'll be here next week. Same link, same time. Take care.